As the summer season begins to draw to a close, the garden gives us another lesson. We planted with hope. We watered, waited, worked, and watched. Some things grew exactly as we expected. Some things struggled. Some produced more than others. And some never produced at all. But standing here at the edge of another season, we're learning that the garden was never just about the harvest. It was about returning to the simple things, returning to the work of our hands, returning to growing our own food, returning to the wisdom our ancestors understood, and most importantly, returning to the instructions Yah gave us through His Word. Scripture and soil may seem like two different things, but when we look closely, they teach us many of the same principles: patience, diligence, stewardship, preparation, dependence, and faith. Yah gave man a garden before He gave him a city. In the beginning, we were placed in the garden to dress it and keep it. There was purpose in the soil. There was purpose in the work. And there was purpose in providing for ourselves and our families. So, as we continue this journey, we're not simply learning how to plant a seed or preserve a harvest. We're learning how to reconnect with a way of life that points us back to our Creator. From scripture to soil, from knowledge to practice, from dependence to stewardship, from forgetting who we are to remembering. And as this summer harvest begins to fade and fall approaches, we're also learning something just as important. We don't have to have a field overflowing with abundance to praise Yah. Even the little that grew is worth giving thanks for. Even the lessons from what failed are worth remembering. Even a small harvest is evidence that Yah provided something for us to steward. As Habakkuk reminds us, "Yet I will rejoice in the Lord, I will joy in the God of my salvation." Habakkuk 3 verse 18 KJV. So, in this episode, we're continuing our journey of returning to our true identity, not merely by reading scripture, but by allowing its principles to take root in the way we live. Because sometimes, finding our way back begins with something as simple as putting our hands in the soil.
Shabbat Shalom, family. We're out here in the garden doing another update. I wanted to start here in the front. We got mini bell peppers coming along. This plant here has been doing very, very good. You see, there's not a lot of damage to the leaves. There's one there. There's just one little hole. And that's probably from like bird dropping, burning the leaves. But it's doing very good. And this is a whole nother plant itself. And it looks like we have a green pepper on that one. We got some weeds in here. We're going to leave them alone. This here is our corn plants. Our carrots. And for the most part, they're doing okay. It looks like we've lost several, but that's fine. Here, this one's just an experiment. It might be because of the way I watered it yesterday. We're not seeing a lot of them. They're covered up. Yep, that's what it is. Some more weeds over in here. But I have moved some things. I'm going to try some things in these pots on the porch here. So I got my sign up. I rigged it up there so it would stay right there so it doesn't fall. Our calla lilies, canna lilies are blooming. We got a blooming stalk there. They've grown out a little bit. But up here we've moved our cucumbers because I'm going to vine it on this reel here. See how that does. But this cucumber plant here in this pot, so far we're doing good. These lilies here are beginning to die back. I knew that one, the brown one there, would, because we moved it. But I wanted to move it before the stalk died back, and I couldn't find the bulb. So our herbs in the ground there's a lot of weeds I need to get in there. There's the rosemary. And let me see. There's the rosemary. And there is the oregano. And as you see, it's putting off some new leaves. Some new growth, I mean. And there's the thyme. Bella, get out of there. Get out. It's time to cut this bush back again. We've done it once already. I need to do it again. And this bush here is getting leggy again, so I'm going to have to cut it back to the first 5 leaves, the first 5 stems that's growing out, to encourage it to get bushy again. But the progress is looking good. My favorite rose bush is filling out. This is the coral one. You see her leaves there, and she smells so good. This lemongrass is getting big. I cut it back. It needs to be done again. Our lavender there is doing good. It's blooming again. I'm going to leave it alone till all the blooms fill out. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut off the little dead pieces there that you see. And get the blooms off there once they all turn purple. And over here, we've got some serious growth. There's a acorn squash. And I came out here earlier. You don't see any male flowers out here because I came and picked them off and pollinated them. But I watched a video. And what this lady was doing was, oh, our little tomato plant fell over. I'm going to get that here in a little bit. She was coming and she was taking something and closing off these blooms here. You see this bloom on this plant? You can leave those alone. But when the male flowers start to get full and are about to open, put something over them. Let me see if I can find any. Nope, I took all of them off. But close the bloom so the bugs don't get in it and get the pollen before you can get out here and pollinate them. This one looks like it didn't get pollinated good. It is still small. As you see this one, and these came out together. And it's starting to be rubbery. It's starting to be soft. As this one is beginning to get hard. So I'm going to pluck this one off because it doesn't look like it's going to do anything. And I'm just going to pluck it off and toss it. But this one here, as you see, it's getting bigger. It obviously, and it's getting hard. You can feel it getting hard. It's obviously getting, it got pollinated correctly. Let's check on this one over here. It's probably too early to tell. In the next couple of days, we'll be able to tell if it got pollinated. You know, this one's hard. But I'll check it in the next couple of days. But it is, as you see, even on the parts where all the leaves died, it's starting to put off new leaves here. There's one there. So it's growing. And let me go ahead and get this one up. Give me 1 second, family. We'll get that one back up. But back there you can see I've started to trail that one up those poles there. I'm just going to let it grow up just to keep it off the ground and so that I can see. Because I did find, oh, there's a male flower there. And I'm going to bring something out here to put over it. If I find newly female ones with the fruit on it, which I'm not seeing any. But I started to hang these up in here so that I can see better and make sure I don't see any squash bugs, because I have been seeing them. I just found one and my husband killed it. There's another male flower. You see it doesn't have any fruit on the bottom of it. And I think what I'm going to do is, after I come out here and get all these dead leaves off, is all the male flowers, I'm going to put something over them to make sure this pollinated good. We want to catch it before the female falls off. But in here, I also have some cucumber plants. I'm just experimenting to see if they're going to do anything. If not, we're just going to leave them, let them die off. Come on, Bellanova. And we have some progress up in here in the garden, in the yard. I started some seeds, which I'm going to, as they grow, I'm going to move them to their permanent spot. Our cucumbers, I think they've ran its course. But here in these rows, you see the little, there's a row of collards. And that one is another row of collards. We have kale there, and you see they've came in. And we have mustard, they've came in. And we have turnips that came in. And we have another row of turnips, and they all came in. And this is not enough space for just them. We're probably going to go across. That direction is east, and direction towards the house is west. We're probably going to go north to south, according to the size of the plant. So the taller ones will go on the north side, the smaller ones will go on the south side, so that they get enough sun. But as you see, my cucumber plant is taking a hit. I'm just going to let it do whatever it's going to do. I'm going to leave the, you can see them, we got some cucumbers in there. Leave these on here until I make my video for pickling them, because we made some, we pickled some, but I wanted to do it for the first time by myself before I did it with you guys, so I could be more informational and see if I have any failures or anything like that. But as you see, this plant is dying out, which that's okay. It has some cucumbers on it. I'm gonna come through here, I'm gonna get all the dead stuff off and do what we can with what's still living. But we have many cucumbers. Oh, it smells like cucumbers in here. And I'm going to let it run its course. Here, in this little bed here that's really brown, we have a multitude of things. We have some, let's see if I can get it to show you. But we have some, mostly, you see those little stakes are where the beets are. The newly planted beets we have. But there's beets, there's carrots, there's radishes in there. And here are our tomatoes. Here are our watermelons in those mounds there. And you see there's some, I believe those are radishes there that I planted. You'll know them when they fully come up. Our tomato plants have not done as well as we like. There's some tomatoes on here. Some of them, there was one that I took off. Get over here, Nava. Get over here, Bella. The dogs like to go over in the neighbor's yard. But there's some tomatoes on there. All the ones that I get, I'm going to use to make tomato sauce. However much I get is however much I get. I'm not going to worry too much about it. There's a tomato. There's one down there. And whatever we get is whatever we get. Let's see if we got some jalapenos coming on. I'm going to probably dig the stronger ones of this up and put it in a pot and take it in the house. But there's our beets that we planted maybe a month ago, and they are doing good. They're growing. Hopefully they're doing their thing underground. But this winter, what I plan on doing, since we won't be able to get out here that much besides to get our greens, collard, kale, mustard, all those, is taking care of indoor plants that you want to keep, things in that sort. But here's our green beans, and of course we got beans, and I've been taking these beans and putting them in the bag in the freezer, and when I get my pressure canner, I'm gonna start. Oh, there's a lot of green beans in there. I'm gonna start pressure canning them according to the size for like me and my husband. If you have more people, you know how many cans of green beans that you have to use for your family for a meal or for two. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a big pot of them, however many green beans that I have, and I'm going to cook them. Me and my husband's going to smoke some turkey necks, and we're going to cook them and then can them, and then you just open the jar and you just reheat it. So here we see our baby beets. Let's see, you see the reddish color? Yeah, those are baby beets. And they should be all throughout here. Come over here, Nava. Our strawberries, of course, I knew. There's a good one. I'll take that in the house. I've been putting the strawberries that I get from here and putting them in a little bag and just putting them in the freezer. I'm going to get what I get and don't throw a fit. When all these weeds die back, when it gets cooler, we'll be able to come up here and get this in order. But I got one little strawberry. Hey, put that in my little bag, and whatever I get, I'll juice it with my beets. I'll probably go back to the store and get the most organic strawberries I can find, blueberries, and juice them together. But there's going to be a video of juicing and preserving, because fresh juice only lasts 3 days in the refrigerator. So I've found a way that they say that you can juice it and preserve the benefits of it, like the nutrients from it. So we're going to try that, see what it does, and we're just going to continue preserving what we have. That's all we're going to do, is preserve what we do get and learn. If you have a notebook, you can get a notebook and start writing down some of your successes and your failures, and see what, keep it in a notebook. So for the next season, hey, I used A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I know not to use E, F, G for this plant, for that plant, for this plant. I've learned that spraying these leaves is a lot of the reason why you see some of the discoloration. Spraying the leaves with water. If you have a way to run piping, there is a way. Figuring it out is the issue. To get it to where you can hook your water hose up and it waters each plant at the root, there is a way. There's an inexpensive way. I just haven't figured it out. It's probably tedious, but we know what happens when you have patience. So getting through those things. But You know, we pickled from the cucumbers that we had. We pickled two big jars, what was that? 32 ounces, 32-ounce jars, the bigger mason jars. One of the like the wedges of pickles. We did the bread and butter. Uh, we gave the slices to my father-in-law, and he really enjoyed them, so I gave those to him. And then we kept the wedges because we like them. We eat them all the time. So we did that, and it turned out pretty good. You know, it was different from the ones that we bought at the store. I'm not going to say for the worst. Uh-oh, did I find another one? Oh, yeah, I found another plant. There's one there. And I think they turned that color because I've never caught them go from this to this. I always just find them when they look like this. So we'll need to start covering up our male leaves that are starting to form so the insects don't get in it and steal the pollen. But anyways, we're just preserving everything that we have, that we do get, and that does save you a little bit of money. And the more you learn, the more money you can save. You know, not buying bread and butter pickles, or not having to buy greens or green beans, or, you know, if you have a heirloom seed, you know, open pollinated non-hybrid corn, putting those in the freezer and saving them. It saves you money little by little, and then eventually it'll come to a place where you know how to grow exactly what you need throughout the winter. That's what the people did that live off the land. They get what they need to last them throughout the winter. So let me show you these. Here are our Brussels sprouts, and I tried them for the first time the other day, and I love them. Something told me to grow these because I knew I was going to like them, and I do like them. We had them roasted, so we have a plethora of Brussels sprout plants. I'm going to weed these down to 2 per cell, or 3 in the ones that only had 1 seed come up, so I can get them out there in the garden. But we've already got them started. No, I didn't grow them in the house because I started them in the house, but I brought them outside because of the moisture content was killing them. So they're out here. They're getting hardened off already. You can start them in things like this and just bring them outside. If it gets too hot, take them back in the house, put them under the grow lamp. But you could leave them inside until they sprout. Once they sprout, take the little clear tops off and bring them outside. And then if it gets too hot, take them inside and put them under the lamp. But as you see, the wind's blowing right now. You can't really see. But that's also what you want to harden them off too. So if you're growing something inside, you need some wind blowing on them, because when you bring them outside, they're not used to the wind. So we need to keep that in mind too. Hopefully at the end of winter, when I starting my plants to come outside again, which it will be these plants that I'm starting now, the Brussels sprouts, the cabbage, the broccoli, all that, those grow in the springtime and in the fall time. So we will be learning this together. So our little garden, we've eaten many fried tomatoes, we've eaten zucchini, we've used our jalapenos. I made jalapeno cornbread yesterday. We fried some fish that we caught, and you know, we didn't spend really a dime. The fish was free. Let me see, the jalapenos was free. I did buy the cornbread mix, which I found a sweet cornbread, because that's how the cornbread that I like is the sweet muffin bread. That didn't get over here, Bella. That didn't have the things that possibly could be pork in them. So with this family, I'm going to say, I'm going to do a video of me repotting my plants. Get over here, Bella. My house plants, well, my plants that I keep in the house over the winter. So we are seeing a lot of growth, even from the last video that I made. So we got some good tomatoes on this. Hopefully.
Get over here.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hopefully we get enough to make some spaghetti sauce. Here's my little herb garden. My peppermint. It's got a lot of new growth. My coriander, I'm going to let this grow until it gets cold, and then I'm going to harvest the coriander and the parsley. My little pole bean, this is not going to be big enough for him, but I'm just going to let it run over here and do whatever it does. Everything over here, I'm just going to let it run and do whatever it does, and we'll go from there. So we're having a lot of success in this part of the season. So we've learned a lot, we've grown a lot, and we're just going to keep on growing. So with this family, I'm going to say shalom.
Family, I can say that this has been a very rewarding season. I have learned more this year than I have throughout all the years I have gardened. I can honestly say that adding Yah to the way I place things in the soil has truly taught me valuable lessons. The most important is that Yah should be included in all we do. I hope this has inspired you to get outside and enjoy the creations of Yah. Until next time, family, shalom.